It's almost time. It's almost time. Gamers rise up. 2021, we're taking over. Yo, it's your boy, Equip, coming at you live, January 1st, 2021. This is going to be a pretty informal stream tonight. I don't really have a whole lot planned, and as you can see, I didn't even bother to set up the green screen today. It just, it seemed like a hassle. So, hey, what is up? We're just gonna do kind of a really chill stream tonight. Just kind of a chat interaction. Ask me anything. You know, kind of recap of the good things that came out of 2021. Everyone always mentions the bad things, but there were several really, really cool, positive things that happened this year that I wanted to talk about. You know, new albums that I really liked, and video games that I played that I particularly liked. And not all of them, you know, came out in 2020. There's some 2019 stuff that I wanted to catch up on. So yeah, let's get right to it. That opening jam, I saw a couple people talking about it, is the first track from the from DJ Prom Night Plays the Requests, which, speaking of requests, the heavily requested Bandcamp fan club for Equip is now live as of last night. I put it up at about 2 a.m. So if anyone is still on the Patreon, I would highly recommend you switch over. I'm going to leave both active for a while. I see there's quite a few people that still have not switched over. But I'm going to pause the billing cycle. Well, it is paused for January, so anybody that's on Patreon has not been charged. And the new stuff, I think, will be posted on Bandcamp from here on out. And as I've mentioned before, there's a couple reasons for the switch. One is that Patreon is... it's not great at keeping track of, like, addresses, and shipping fulfillment stuff isn't super easy. So it's going to be a lot easier for me to keep track of who got what tapes, because there was several instances where somebody would sub for like a month, they really wanted a tape, and then they would unsub, and then I basically had to keep an eagle eye on the subscriptions and make sure that I got everybody in, and I have this big Excel spreadsheet, and then you know, the distribution method for emailing out the codes it's going to be a lot easier on Bandcamp too. It'll just be like instant. So this whole stream, I'm just going to do a shuffle of like all of the Equips Picks tracks from 2020. There's quite a few. I did an album every single month in 2020. It's hard to believe, but I think it definitely kept me like sane and productive during this year. And just meeting everybody, you know, forming this little community has been really, really a nice addition to my life, and it's been great getting to know everybody in the Discord. And speaking of the Discord, if you've joined the Bandcamp fan club today, I'm gonna get the Discord invite code out to everybody tonight. Just kind of had a busy day so far, but I'm definitely gonna get on that tonight. So yeah, it looks like we got a lot of Equips Picks patrons in the chat. We got Lil Liam, Sega Octopus, Rainy Cakes, got all kinds of people in here. Commodore. Yeah, thanks so much for joining. Yeah, it's been a really, really cool year so far. 2020 was for the Patreon. Hey, I got a donation email from Ed Jr. I don't know why the donation thing didn't kick in. Maybe it's, I have a feeling it's set to not recognize $1 donations, Ed Jr. I'm so sorry that that didn't trigger the thing. I gotta go into my Streamlabs preferences and change that real quick. But yeah, 2021, I've got a lot of cool things planned. I'm gonna continue the Equips Picks subscription service, but it's all gonna be through Bandcamp. This month, I'm going to reissue my first 2 ambient albums that I've released under my own birth name. These were released on a label I ran with a friend back in 2013 or so. It's called Gauze and Gauze 2. And I'll pull up the, while I got the browser view open here, I'll pull up the page. I was at bandcamp.com/. So yeah, I used to run this label, it doesn't work like that, does it? I used to run this label called Breathing and Receiving Oxygen with a friend of mine, Colin Blanton. He does a solo project called Bryn now. That's really, really cool, like textural, percussive, ambient stuff. So yeah, where's the borrow page? Maybe I'll just go to my page. I know that's up here somewhere. Anyway, these albums have been kind of untouched for quite a while. The last thing I did was on... oh, weird. The search function is not working for me today. What the hell? Maybe Google is my friend here. Yeah, anyway, the last album I did under my own name was released under Jack DeRosa's, aka Back Pain, his charity label, Avian Life, and it's all kind of ruminations on... where is this stuff? God, I can't find my own music. It's a sad state of affairs here. Someone link me to my own music, please. Yeah, the search function's not working. Whatever, you'll see it when it goes up. But yeah, it's kind of like ambient, Cocteau Twins inspired, like drone stuff. And back then I tried to make all of my sounds sourced from guitar. So like I'd record little bits of guitar here and there, take like cool sounding chords, cut off like the reverb trails, resample those in Ableton into the sampler function, and like make new synths with the guitar sounds. I should do a production tutorial on that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's oh nice, cool. Sephi Starshine's got the link in the chat. Lil Liam's got the links too. Awesome, thank you so much, you two. Clutch links coming in from Rainy Cakes too. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. So yeah, these I haven't touched them for a really long time. I think they're due for a repackaging and a remastering. I'm not really happy with the way that I left the mastering. It's really, really quiet, and it's lacking some kind of polish and low end. So I'm gonna put those together and kind of include some other stuff that I recorded during that time period, some B-sides, just some various kind of padding to make it kind of a fuller package. So yeah, that'll be January's Equips Picks. Next month, I'm going to revisit one of the monikers that I made last year, which is Bullet Heaven. And so you can see the release here. It's basically like a continuous DJ mix, really high energy kind of trance style mix of tracks curated exclusively from like shoot 'em up, bullet hell arcade games. So Bullet Heaven 2 is coming next month, and I'm gonna focus on like kind of PCM and FM synth based stuff. So like a lot of like Sega Genesis era stuff, a lot of like late 80s arcade cabinets, and some kind of cool stuff that I didn't really get to touch on that much with Unlimited Damaku Euphoria. So yeah, that should be exciting. And March, I'm planning on revisiting the idea that I had with Equip 64. And for those of you not in the know, Equip 64 is it's basically me doing enhanced MIDI covers of some of my favorite jams from the N64. So what I'm going to do for March is take the same idea and apply it to Super Nintendo. So I'm going to take some of my favorite SNES soundtrack bangers, try to find the MIDI online, and tweak it enough to where it sounds like an Equip track. So yeah, I'm really excited to get that out there too. And yeah, I've tried to keep the pricing the same as the Patreon, but there's now a new cheaper cassette tier. There's a $15 cassette tier. So instead of doing like a tape every single month, I'm gonna do 4 shipments of 3 tapes. And there's a couple reasons for this. One, it's a little bit more eco-friendly, I'd say. It's easier to send in multiple tape orders at once and get them all done and have the shipping combined on that. I can combine the shipping to send them out to everyone. And I'm not like, sending out mailers every single month. Yeah, it's going to be an easier way to do things. And of course, if you only want to do like 2 tapes or 1 tape, whatever, that's fine too. Tomorrow I plan on adding the extras from the 2020 Equips Picks tapes up on the Bandcamp to purchase. So the cool thing about the Bandcamp too is if you're on even like the lower tier, the $5 tier, you can still buy select tapes. So if you don't want to buy every single tape, but you want to continue, supporting for $5 a month, it'll add, more modularity to the process, and you'll be able to just kind of pick and choose what you want. I understand, not everybody wants to sign up for $15 tape every single month. I totally get it. So yeah, that'll be that. Junior says, imagine if Equip made Shenmue mixes. Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about the Equips picks is, through the Discord, I'm always like listening to suggestions and stuff like that. And I have done, like the DJ Prom Night Plays Requests is an all request album, strictly Equips Picks patrons requests. And I made a ton of them, and I kind of narrowed it down to my favorite ones. And then I later released kind of the B-sides to that later, which is the After Party Requests album, which, yeah, these, I still liked the tracks, but they didn't really fit in with the grand sequencing of the album. So yeah, I do like kind of request releases and stuff, and I would like to do that this year too. Maybe, with the N64 one, I also kind of listened to suggestions and requests. And, I got a Raymundo just signed up for the Bandcamp. Thank you so much. I wish I had a widget that would show all of the new Bandcamp subs on the screen so y'all could see it, but I couldn't figure out how to program that in time. I need to get the George Clanton programming wizard to help me out with the the Bandcamp subscription thing. I'm sure he knows how to do that. Yeah, last year was super fun, and this year is going to be even more fun, I think. So, yeah, if you've been late to the party, if you didn't want to sign up for Patreon or whatever, I totally understand. It's going to be easier with Bandcamp for you and me. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna leave. As you can see, I've got the. Let's see which side my hand's on. I've got the little link to the whatchamacallit, the Bandcamp down here in the corner. I'm looking at the Twitch stream, so I'm all delayed here. So yeah, I'm gonna get back into the game streaming next week. Not sure what I'm going to tackle. I've got a bunch of games recently that I think would be really cool to stream. I just beat Demon Souls last night. Hell of a game, hell of a way to ring in the new year. Yeah, I'm thinking about starting 13 Sentinels. That's a game that I've been looking forward to for a really long time. It's developed by Vanillaware. They did Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, Muramasa, Princess Crown. They've got really cool, unique kind of anime, really beautiful anime art style. And I thought that might be kind of fun to stream. I also bought it's getting very rare now, but a physical copy of Disaster Report 4, which is Irem, the developer of the R-Type series. It's like Irem's like final game, I guess. It kind of tanked them because they put a bunch of developmental resources into it. It was going to come out for PS3. Then there was a bunch of earthquakes in Japan when it happened, so they shelved the release for nearly like 5 or 6 years. And then I think Granzilla came in and got the publishing rights. So yeah, that one looks, it's like, it's really clunky. It's got that like weird PS3 3D jankiness. That's I don't know, it's kind of charming in a way, and it's like clunky and slow paced enough that I think it would be perfect to stream. Commodore 256 says, I would love to see 13 Sentinels. Yeah, that I managed to pick up that game for $30 on Black Friday, and I believe you can still get it for $30 brand new from GameStop. It's got a beautiful art book that comes with it. I'm really looking forward to playing it. Shiroki says, I need to get a new processor, then figure out how to use thermal paste. I jumped over that hurdle earlier this year. I built my first PC this year. That's the machine that I'm streaming on now. And it's a lot easier than you think. You just gotta kind of drop it in the socket, pull the little lever, and then everyone has their own, preference for applying thermal paste. I think I did the X pattern for it, or just put a big glob in the middle. I can't really remember. But I watched a bunch of videos on thermal paste application and definitely freaked myself out about it. So yeah, good luck with that, Shabroki. Midnight Dreams asks, are you ever going to play any Final Fantasy games? Yeah, I would love to play some Final Fantasy on here. The RPGs are interesting because when I streamed Mother 3, it seemed like viewership was pretty high for the first episode, and then it kind of seemed to drop off on like the second or third episode, and then it ended up dragging on for a really long time. So I think it would be kind of fun to, instead of, doing one game and finishing it to completion, maybe trying out some like fan ROM hacks or something, or trying out some of the lesser known Final Fantasies, like Final Fantasy Type 0, for instance, does not get a lot of love, but I think it's a really excellent game, and I would love to kind of show it off on stream. I've been playing the original PSP release since before the HD remaster came out, playing an English translation patch. And yeah, it's a really cool game, and not a lot of people talk about it, so I'd love to get that in the mix. So to answer your question, Midnight Dreams, I'd say yes, I will play some Final Fantasy games this year. Yeah, Commodore, you're right. Thermal paste is pretty forgiving. I think there's like a Linus Tech Tips video where they actually tested out every popular thermal paste application and did, stress tests and temperature tests on them afterwards. And it seems to be they're all pretty much the same within, maybe 1 or 2 degrees of fluctuation. So you can't really mess it up that much. Name is not relevant. Which processor? I was lucky enough to score one of the new Ryzen Zen 3s. I knew that there was a weird computer parts shortage or a limited supply or whatever, but I live about a mile from a micro center. So the day that the new Ryzens came out, I showed up at Micro Center when they opened at 9 a.m. and was very surprised to see a line wrapping around the entire shopping plaza. But I stood in line and I waited, and I kind of wasn't expecting them to have any by the time I got in, but I managed to grab a Ryzen 7, what is it, Ryzen 7 5800X, and I've been pretty happy with it so far. It's pretty fast, so it was a nice upgrade from my old Ryzen 2700X. So yeah, I was also lucky enough to, while I was there, they had RTX 3080s, and like when I got in the store, they were like, "Are you here for graphics card too?" And I was like, "What do you have?" And he was like, "We've got a big pile of these EVGA 3080s." And I was like, "Yeah, give me one of those." I had to sign up for a Micro Center credit card that day. I was like not really expecting to bust the wallet open that much, but I ended up selling like all of my rack synths to kind of pay for my computer upgrade. So yeah, it was okay in the end. Shibroki, I'm curious to what motherboard you got. I got the Asus X570 Tough. So yeah, it's I've been pretty happy with that so far. Sega Octopus says, are you gonna finish Mother 3? That's a good question, and I do plan on finishing it. Like I've mentioned previously, it's probably not going to be part of the Monday night streams. I want to do some kind of like longer marathon streams that are a little bit more casual. You know, maybe on a Saturday or Sunday. I've just been like busy with other stuff, and I've been playing games that like are in the living room setup, and I don't know, I just haven't really felt like bringing my computer into the living room or unplugging anything there. So I'll get back to Mother 3 one of these days. It's not a super high priority. I don't know how many people actually want to see me finish the game. I mean, I think I got like halfway through, but I do really want to finish it. It's like unfinished business for me. So yeah, I'll definitely revisit it at some point. Ray Moon says, I wish I lived near a Micro Center. Yeah, it's a really, really cool store. Super nerdy, but I love it. It's cool just to be able to walk in and grab computer parts without having to wait for them to come in the mail. You know, you can pop them in immediately, and if they don't work, oh, I see 6 Sheets just jumped over to the Bandcamp. Thank you so much. Longtime Eclipse6 patron. Appreciate the changeover. But yeah, Micro Center, such a cool store, and yeah, I feel lucky to live by one because they usually reserve their new computer parts for their in-store customers, and they don't sell them online on like launch day. So if they didn't do that, I doubt that I would have been able to secure the Ryzen and the 3080. So pretty happy about that. Midnight Dream says we need a Cursebreaker X themed ROM hack. I've thought about that many times, like hiring somebody to put in like equip sprites like the one that Sega Octopus has made me up here. I would love to like ROM hack those into a Castlevania game. I think that would be really cool. I think it would be even cooler to like pay a game developer to make, you know, an original equipped game, even if it's only like a couple levels, but like in the Castlevania style. So yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe if I can get a decent budget together to hire some devs, we can make it happen. Speaking of, Sega Octopus made a RPG Maker demo of the walkthrough that came with the Severe Mountain Path floppy disk, and I've yet to play it yet. Sorry, Sega. I will get to it this week, I promise. I've been swamped with other stuff. But I'm really excited to play that, so really, really cool. Yo, Ryzen and graphics cards, nice cop. Thank you. I feel lucky to have them. Yeah, the pandemic gaming equipment has been kind of crazy, and I've lucked out a couple times now in being able to get, you know, a 3080 and a PS5 as well. I'm like super thankful to have been able to cop those, and I got them locally, so I don't think that there's any way to get that stuff online unless you have like a bot or like the fastest trigger finger in the West. Shibroki got a MSI B450M AMD motherboard gaming plus. That's cool. My old motherboard was a B450, but I had to change it out because it wasn't. It didn't look like it was going to be compatible with the new Ryzen. Yeah, Naboy and Fighting Island love Micro Center. Hell yeah. Yeah, Mr. Big Fart says, problem with Micro Centers, I'll go for canned air and end up filling a cart. Yeah, that is a big problem. I also go there for canned air. I love that stuff. It's super nice for so you don't have to blow into your Nintendo cartridges too. It's multifunctional. Name is not relevant says, I know the ending to Mother 3, but I would like to see you finish it. I've just been working much these days, so I hope I could. Yeah, I gotta see the ending. I mean, it's one of those things, like, if I've put like over 15 hours into a game, I have to see it through. Even games that I don't necessarily enjoy. So yeah, to be totally honest, the game Tales of Destiny is like well beloved by RPG fans. And I realized about 16 hours into the game that, like, I just didn't like it very much. I just didn't really feel a connection to any of the characters. The random encounter rate is insanely high, and it started to get fatiguing to where, like, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna play some Tales of Destiny and relax, and then I'd find myself feeling like I was going to work or something. But the fact that I put in like 16 hours, I had to see it through. I looked it up on howlongtobeat.com, and the total time was like 26 hours. So I was like, okay, what's another 10 hours of torture? And I did finish it eventually. So, that I gotta see Mother 3 through to the end. And I actually love that game, so it won't be a chore to play. I figured people were getting bored of me streaming it. I don't know, the viewership just kind of kept tanking week after week. And I think the last stream I had, there was like, I don't know, like 7 people watching, and I was kind of like, is this for me or is this for other people? So, Ed Jr. says, I never knew you made an RPG Maker demo of Nameless Dreamers. I'd like to try it out sometime. I mean, if you want to share that, that would be sick. I'd love for some other people to experience it too, Sega. Sporky says, I need a better cooling system too. Been having overheating problems lately. Yeah, you know what? When I got that 3080, I found that it ran so much hotter than my old graphics card. So I went on eBay and I bought like 4 more case fans. So I pretty much maxed out my case fans, and I got a better CPU cooler too. I ended up getting one of those Noctua Chromax air coolers. I still don't know if I trust the water coolers yet. I know a lot of people love them, but I don't know. It just seemed easier to get an air cooler. So yeah, I definitely had to upgrade my cooling as well. Shabroki. Maz1 says, hello, Equip. Just popped in to say how much I love and appreciate your incredible music. Have a great year. Thank you so much, Maz1. That means so much to me to hear you say that. I really appreciate it. Nah boy says, finally fucking finished Xenoblade 1. Took forever. Yeah, that seems like a daunting one, Nah boy. I've got the I have the Wii version, like the original issue of it, and I thought I'd play it, you know, way back when, and it just kind of got shelved and ignored, and I'd love to play it someday, whenever I get around to it. So congrats on beating that. I don't have Corona says, hello, you look interesting like an elf. Thank you. Thank you. Midnight Dream says, stupid question, but is Perfect Harmonic Cursebreaker inspired by What Is Love? Absolutely. I did a Cursebreaker retrospective stream that I got to figure out how to post that to the Bandcamp. It's posted in the Patreon, but I kind of went behind what I did for all the tracks and the inspirations behind all those tracks. So yeah, that one's a combination of like Ghost Town DJs, My Boo, and What Is Love by Hadaway. So yeah, very keen ear there. Yeah, we got a lot of people that want to try Sega Octopus's RPG. That's awesome. Maz1 says, I've just gotten into Final Fantasy 3 on the SNES. Yeah, that one's my favorite. Final Fantasy 3, or Final Fantasy 6, as it's known in Japan, is undoubtedly my favorite Final Fantasy game. And yeah, I think that the SNES version is probably the best way to experience it. You know, the PlayStation version is great, has some loading times. The newer versions, I'm kind of so-so on. Like, I don't really like the font and the character sprites that they made for the mobile versions. I think they're kind of garish, and they don't really match the original aesthetic. And the Game Boy Advance version is all fine and good, but the music is compromised to work with the Game Boy Advance's sound engine. So I think that the SNES version is probably the best way to play it. So good call on that. I got Brandon Just Is in here. Hey, yo, what's good, everyone? What's good? Brandon Just Is. Mr. Big Fart says, if you need some ideas for streams in 2021, I'd love to see an MTV Cribs style tour all through your retro tech. Yeah, that's definitely in the works, Mr. Big Fart. I want to make like a static video out of it instead of just a stream, so I don't have to like show you the rest of my my somewhat chaotic apartment right now. I've kind of like overgrown my game shelf. I know some of you have this problem with like your tape shelves, but it's like all of the shelves are full, and then there's like boxes on top of that, and then there's boxes on top of that. So I want to kind of redo my my gaming museum before I like film a formal video. But yeah, I would love to do an MTV Crib style video, Mr. Big Fart. That's a great suggestion. Gift Annoyed says, just keep your tower in the freezer. I've heard of some people refrigerating their PCs. That's really, really funny. That's hilarious. Ellis Ghost says, ooh, I want to get liquid cooling for my PC someday. Yeah, it seems really cool. It also seems daunting at the same time, and I know it's like not like a majority thing that happens, but I've heard of so many people that get like leaks in their liquid system. And like just the possibility of like liquid leaking inside your computer sounds so scary to me. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll that would be like an experimental build. I kind of, now that I've kind of turned my streaming PC into a gaming PC, I've kind of been thinking about doing like a mini ATX build and like making a dedicated streaming machine again. Because basically, I like to play games on my TV in the living room. You know, it's a 60 hertz 4K OLED, and action games. I play with an Xbox controller. It looks really nice. You know, for like first-person shooters and stuff, playing on the couch is not ideal. That being said, I would like to make, one of those kind of gamer battle stations that sits on your lap where you can have your mouse and keyboard out. I don't know, I got some like woodworking tools this past year, so maybe I'll build myself like a little lap desk or something for that. So yeah, totally. Maybe we'll do a liquid cooled experimental stream machine one of these days. Lil Liam says, I just beat Xenoblade 1 myself, felt the game dragged a bit towards the end. I've heard that too. I've heard some criticism too towards the Wii U one, Xenoblade Chronicles X, people saying that the pacing was kind of off or whatever. Though I've heard Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is largely really enjoyable all the way through. So yeah, I don't know. Does anybody know if you need to like play Xenoblade 1 to enjoy Xenoblade 2? I feel like I'm kind of like missing out on that series. I don't know. One of these days I will check it out. Shiburoki says Kefka is the best FF villain. Absolutely. And as some of you might know, I have sampled the infamous Kefka laugh in the track Dungeon on I Dreamed of a Mouse in the Sky. There's also some other instances where it pops up, and I throw it in my live set quite often. I like to throw that on one of the NPC pads and trigger that. It's kind of fun. Maz1 says, will the Cursebreaker X vinyl be coming to Bandcamp, or is it staying on the 100p website? 100p usually puts their vinyl on the website first, and then they'll put it on the Bandcamp. I know it's a little confusing that like I have a personal Bandcamp, and then there's like the 100% Electronica Bandcamp page. So essentially there's two equipped Bandcamps. When I do stuff with the Yeti, it's linked to my personal Bandcamp. So they need that to be active. And then, of course, 100% has their own separate Bandcamp that they sell stuff through. I still get 100% of the sales from that. They're just forwarded to me with my, royalty payments and stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure they'll put it up on the Bandcamp eventually. I know that they like to keep things kind of exclusive to the site to encourage people to buy from there, because they get higher cut since they own the website domain and stuff, and there's not the Bandcamp 10% link. But yeah, you know, if you ever like buy a vinyl from the 100p website and want the Bandcamp code, just email support, and I'm pretty sure they're happy to send you one. I can't think of any reason why they wouldn't. So, yeah, good question. Sevi Sarshan says, I have no room for more tapes, and yet I ordered 5 new ones on payday. Yeah, that's... You know, I took a really long break from buying video games, like almost, you know, a year. I hadn't bought any games since I went to Japan last year. And then all of a sudden, like this year, I started buying games again. And I mean, it's because I got a PS5 and it's backwards compatible with PS4. So I figured like there's some good sales going on Black Friday. Like GameStop had like, I hate to support GameStop, but they had a, buy 5 games that are $19.99 and lower, and they'll all be half price. So I got like 5 PS4 games for $50. It's a pretty sweet deal. I got Dark Souls 2 and 3, the Shadow of the Colossus remake, Metal Wolf Chaos, and Gravity Rush 2. So those are all in the to play queue. You know, I picked up Final Fantasy VII Remake. I picked up Spider-Man Miles Morales. I picked up the 13 Sentinels. So I've got a pretty hefty like stack of stuff to play this upcoming bleak winter. These Souls games are kind of perfect for winter gaming, I think. So having beaten Demon Souls last night, I think I'm going to move on to Dark Souls Remastered. So yeah, I've got lots of dying to look forward to this winter. Vapor Liquid PC chilled in icebox. That would be funny. Midnight Dreams. Whitaker Music says, hey, what's going on? What is going on, Whitaker Music? Thanks for joining. Little Liam says, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is one of my favorite JRPGs. Yeah, that's what I've heard from a lot of people. It seems to be kind of the series favorite, and I've heard the expansion, what is it, Golden something, Land of Golden something, is like really fun too. Now boy says, worst part of Xenoblade 1 were the side quests. Yeah, I feel like side quests, sometimes if they're not linked to the story in any way, they start to drag on. You know, nobody likes a fetch quest. And it just seems like a way to get more padding in the game. So, yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Blood Alicia's never finished Chronicles X, but Xeno on Switch was lit. You know, the mech aspect of Chronicles X really appeals to me. I like the fact that you can like get in the mech and move around and get out. And overall, it just looks like a really beautiful game on the Wii U. And that system doesn't really get a whole lot of love, so I wonder if it'll stay exclusive to the Wii U or if they'll port it eventually. I'm kind of curious about that. Now seems like a good time to get Wii U games. They seem to be going for like dirt cheap on, you know, GameStop and even like locally on like OfferUp and stuff. So yeah, the Wii U is, a lot of people think it's going to become a collector's console. I kind of don't. I don't know. It seems like people will always prefer the Switch versions. Like there's a lot of like DS games that got like 3DS upgrades that are like still really cheap. So who knows? I don't know. I think the Wii U is still a cool system, and it's really easy to soft mod and homebrew with. And as I've mentioned before, the Game Boy Advance ports on the Wii U are quite excellent. It's really cool to play Game Boy Advance games on the big screen, and probably the cheapest way to do so, you know, without getting like a Game Boy player set up or whatever. And they just look so crisp, and you can play them on the gamepad, and the controls are excellent, and there's very little lag on them. So I'd recommend the Game Boy Advance ports, and as well as the DS ports on the eShop are really cool. And of course, if you soft mod the system, you can just download all that stuff. So yeah, fun stuff. Shibroki says, speaking of Yeti, Games Done Quick starts this Sunday. Ah, yes. I love Games Done Quick, and our good friend Mark R23X always does some cool Games Done Quick tee designs, and helps coordinate it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this year. I heard of people doing speed runs for Dragon Quest on Famicom, and like doing crazy stuff like heating up the consoles or like freezing them. Man, I should pull that article up. I think I read it on Kotaku. Yeah, I was I was telling him, I was like, yeah, look forward to future GDQs where people are bringing in like toaster ovens and stuff, or like blocks of dry ice to get better times. I'd suggest everybody read this article. It's really funny. It seems like people are using like Famiclone systems and stuff. I can see not wanting to like fry your original Famicom, but it seems like if you crank up the Famicom's internal temp to the 50 degrees Celsius range, or sometimes as high as 80 degrees Celsius, you can improve your chances of getting this like random number glitch to work properly. So yeah, really, really funny bit of video gaming news there. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Sega Octopus is on YouTube. Yeah, if you have any Twitch streaming problems, go to YouTube. I'm trying out. I set my internal rendering resolution for the stream to 4K, and then set the output to 1080p. So it looks like it's using a little bit more of my CPU, but I'm only at about 4%, and I don't see any drop frames so far. But I don't know. Call me crazy. It looks better to me to have the webcam at 4K and then downscale to 1080p. In fact, it looks a little too good. You can like see my crooked teeth, and you can see all my stubble. It's like all my facial imperfections. Yeah. Bloodalicious says Paper Mario Origami King is pretty fun. Just started last week. It's got really good writing, like the Thousand Year Door. You know what? I have every single Paper Mario game, except for the 3DS one. I should have picked that one up. I saw that just the other day. But yeah, I've never played any of them. I've started the 64 one several times, but I've never like seen it through to the end. That might be a fun one to stream. Paper Mario 64. One of these days. Yeah, it seems like the HD quality of Twitch is giving some people problems, so sorry about that. If you have streaming issues, feel free to go to YouTube. Midnight Dream says, if I ever have kids, I'm going to tell my kids I dreamed of a palace in the sky. Vinyl is the first video game. That's hilarious. I appreciate you legendizing my lore there, Midnight Dreams. NG says GameStop is an iffy company. You're right. Yeah, GameStop sucks. I'll go ahead and be on the record as saying that. Their business practices are really shady. They treat their employees like crap. Just really questionable business practices all around. However, I can't resist a sale, and being able to get those games, physical copies for so cheap, was nice, because, you know, now it seems like a good time to buy PS4 games as well. A lot of like really good titles are going for under $20, and given that a lot of the PS4 games are backwards compatible on PS5, seems like a good time to kind of bolster up my collection. And I believe those FromSoft games, like the Dark Souls Remastered and Dark Souls 2 and 3, they left the frame rates uncapped on PS4, so they actually run at like 60 frames per second on PS5. So I'm really looking forward to experiencing those in all their high frame rate glory. Ingy says, I always wanted to try Gravity Rush 1 and 2. Yeah, I got a copy of Gravity Rush 1 recently, the remastered one, through GameFly. The eBay prices were insane for that one. I think it was an Amazon exclusive, so it looks like it's going for over $100 online. But if you sign up for a GameFly free trial, rent the game, and then you can choose to keep the game on the site, and it's $50. So you can get a copy of Gravity Rush Remastered for $50, and then when you're done with it, you know, sell it for $100 if you want. I'm gonna keep mine for the collection, but yeah, I'm looking forward to trying those games too. Oh, people have corrected me for the Xenoblade. It's the Torna Country expansion. Okay, thank you. Bloodalicious and Lolium. Bloodalicious also loves the Wii U library. Yeah, it's so weird and unique. I was thinking about playing the Fire Emblem Persona crossover, because it's so much cheaper on Wii U. I guess I could just, you know, play it on the cracked Wii U as well. But that always seemed like a fun game that, for some reason, the Switch version, you know, it's never going to come down in price. So Sevi says, I stopped supporting GameStop after being treated poorly when I tried to sell some games. Yeah, I have a feeling that's just their company-wide policy, is just offer shitty trade values for games. So yeah, I'd never buy any like new games from GameStop. However, if they've got like sales and stuff, I'll try to get everything I can out of them. Abuse their promo codes and stuff. So yeah, Antique Mold says, love my modded 3DS. Just finished Link Between Worlds. I also just recently installed the Luna custom firmware on my 3DS XL, and it's got me wanting to get. I never bought the new 3DS, but I've kind of like rediscovered my love for the console. It's a really cool system, and I don't know if it's worth it to get the new 3DS, but Nintendo just discontinued them, so now I'm starting to see those kind of spike up in price. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I started getting into like that panic buy mode where I was like, oh, I better get a new 3DS before they become collector's items. And I'm almost positive it's just like coronavirus, pandemic buying. But yeah, I really want to get a new 3DS. The screen quality is so much better than the old one, and yeah, I like that little C-stick. I like the size of the screen, so I'm looking for those. If anybody's got a new 3DS they want to sell me or trade me, hit me up via email. The chat's going quick here, so I gotta kind of blast through this. You can glitch it by putting it on a hot plate. Yeah, they were talking about the Famicom Dragon Quest games. Yeah, that's crazy. Antique Mold, LMAO, that's what's up. Mr. Crab overdose on ketamine speedruns, but the game is an RPG for the Famicom. Interesting. Weird. They told me I couldn't prove that the games were Russian bootlegs, even though the game in question was a sealed original. That's really strange. That's crazy. Antique Vault says oversampling looks sharp. Yeah, I want that new 3DS now. Only Mario RPG I played was the first Mario and Luigi. Yeah, Lolium, that's the only exception for me too. I remember getting that for Christmas one year, and I beat it, and I loved that game. The writing is so good. It's so funny. It's so tongue-in-cheek. I love how they reference the rest of the series. And yeah, I really regret selling my complete in-box copy of Mario RPG. I'd like to re-add that to my collection someday. Maybe, I don't know. It just seems nostalgic for that reason. Hello, Zether123. Yeah, I know, Sega. I do need to play Paper Mario. And no, I've never played the DS games in Nymphia 64, but I've heard they're all fun. I saw Bowser's Inside Journey in the Target clearance bin, and I should have grabbed it. It was there for like a day, and then the next time I went back, it was gone. And maybe I'll find a used price or something. Yeah, Blood Delicious, the GameCube games have totally skyrocketed. Luckily, I got all of the GameCube games I wanted before they went up too high. I managed to get like Ikaruga and like Skies of Arcadia and some of the heavier hitters for, under like $30 before they got too expensive. So I feel like my GameCube collection is pretty much complete. I'm not really looking for anything for that console. And I've installed a mod into that too. Like I got the there's a really cheap one you can get called SD to SP2. Yeah, SD to SP2, and it goes into the unused service port underneath the GameCube. So you can get one of these from Castlemania Games for $11, and you need a Swiss setup for your GameCube to launch this. But basically, I put like a 256 gigabyte SD card in my GameCube, and then just loaded all the rest of the games that I didn't really feel like buying or adding to my collection to that. So yeah, I've got the ability to play pretty much any GameCube game I want. It's really cool. So yeah, I'd recommend that for some of the prices that the GameCube games have gone up to nowadays are quite crazy. Yeah, totally. Electronics Boutique was better, Daniel Milan. I remember Funkoland, Electronics Boutique, and oh god, what was the other one? I feel like there was another one there too. But yeah, after the merger, it just seemed kind of shitty. Yeah, Sega Octopus says GameFly is cool. I like GameFly so far. It seems like a good deal, especially like now that I got the PS5, like, I want to play all the new titles, but like, I don't really want to buy all of them. You know, like, for instance, that game Returnal, it looks really cool, but like, I don't really want to pay $70 full price for it. And I think GameFly, after the free trial runs up, it's only $15 a month. So, you know, I could just rent the game and then send it back when I'm done. I'm not really as into collecting like new games for like, you know, PS5 and stuff. It just seems like the values drop rather quickly, and those I'm kind of just one and done, move on to the next one. I'm more of a retro collector. So yeah, I might keep the GameFly subscription around for a couple months to see how I'm liking the service. Right now mail is so slow, so it seems like it's taking longer than it should. But yeah, GameFly's been great so far, and you can keep the games if you really like them for a discount. So peace out, Bluntalicious. Sefi Starkshine's been ordering most of the games from a store in the UK, but now I have to pay import taxes. You know, most of the time I just buy my games on eBay, or locally there's a place called The Exchange in Chicago. I think it's like a Ohio-based chain, but they've got several locations. I know some of the employees, they're very nice to me. You can trade in stuff for store credit, like, you know, CDs or records or movies or whatever. So yeah, I was doing that a lot back in the day, trading in like records and CDs for games. So yeah, they've got a good selection, and it's nice to get stuff same day and be able to check out the condition. Unfortunately, like, all the mom and pop shops in Chicago, except for like one called Play It Retro, have closed. There used to be a great one called People Play Games, but it's now gone. So luckily there's still The Exchange for local stuff. But other than that, it's just kind of eBay. I used to go to the game swap meets too, put on by the Galloping Ghost Arcade, and I really miss those. Those were like every other month. R23X says, "Is this IPS?" It's kind of a running joke between him and I. That's so funny. Ed Jr. wants a new 3DS XL too. I like the swappable faceplates of the small 3DS. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the Korg apps for the original DS are really cool. That's cool, you got a 3DS for free. And yeah, Lil Liam, you're right. All video game prices have gone up due to COVID. There's very little exceptions there. It's just kind of crazy. It's like, it's R23X says, "Kevin, I'm sorry, I can't sell my 3DSs. They aren't IPS though." He's got the Pokemon 3DS and the Majora's Mask IPS 3DS, which are quite pricey now. So he wants to hold on to them. I've been bugging him, trying to get him to sell them to me. IPS is like the screen technology that certain 3DSs have, and he was trying to sell one on eBay, and some dude just kept messaging him nonstop asking, "Is this IPS? Is this IPS?" So it's kind of become a running joke between us. P-Tao says, "Do you know how to capture signal from a 3DS?" You know, recently, well, there used to be a guy in Akihabara in Japan named Katsu Kitty that offered a 3DS capture service. But he mysteriously like disappeared, and the website's down and his shop is closed. There's a really good video you can watch by My Life in Gaming. Hey, look, there's me with my mouth open like a jerk. Yeah, there's a really good video by My Life in Gaming about 3DS capture, this 3DS video output. I would suggest you watch this because it's got some kind of interesting things about technological developments in the field of 3DS capture. Recently, like a few days ago, I saw a listing on eBay that was capture, like a wireless capture mod that you could send in your 3DS, and I think it was like $80, and they would, I think it's a physical mod, and then you install some software on your computer, and it's like a wireless capture thing. So I think that there's a new way to do it, but I looked the other day and I could not find the listing, so I'm not sure what happened. Midnight Dream says, "My little brother has an old 3DS. He doesn't use a joystick. It's scratched, but he's been wanting to sell it." Yeah, I'm mostly looking for the new 3DS. I've got an old 3DS XL, and it's pretty good, but I want a new 3DS. Sevi says, "I've been thinking about buying a 3DS once the thrift stores reopen in my country." I've seen plenty of DSs at thrift stores in Chicago, and I've bought plenty of Game Boy Advances from thrift stores, but I don't I've never seen a 3DS at a thrift store, so that's cool if you can walk into a thrift store and obtain one. That's awesome. Mr. Big Fart says, this track, Can You Hear It, is unbelievable. Thank you so much. That's from the latest Equips picks for December. As you know, of course, but for the viewers that don't, that is DJ Prom Night Plays the Holiday Party. Really incredible. I think it was a Vanessa Williams song that I turned into a 15-minute dance floor blazer called Do You Hear It? Definitely my favorite one to make off of the album. So thank you, Mr. Big Fart. Steffi loves the track too. Been playing the Xmas mixtape on repeat since it's dropped. Thank you so much. Yes, Babbage's. That was the other one I couldn't think of, Mr. Big Fart. Yeah, Babbage's, EB Games, and Funko Land. That was like the trio, the holy trio. And then GameStop came along and took over everything. We sail in the high seas, my fellow pirate Yar. Yeah, I feel like you're not really doing too much damage pirating like Wii U games and GameCube games. You know, especially if Nintendo's not offering them to purchase anymore. I gotta say that I've been burned by like buying digital purchases on like Wii U and 3DS and stuff, and before Nintendo had an account-based system, and then the games are just lost and they won't let you download them anymore. So yeah, I don't feel bad for like pirating old Nintendo games. You go at it. Let's sail the high seas together, my friend. Yar. Yeah, Sam Goody for sure. I remember that chain. Good story about Sam Goody is I got my Ark the Lad box set from Sam Goody like a long time ago in high school. I think I was in freshman or sophomore year. And it's a beautiful set. It's got all of the Ark the Lad games on it for PS1. Ark the Lad 1, 2, and 3. And then the Battle Arena, it's got like a soundtrack and then a making of CD. It comes with like a map, a hardbound booklet, and the part of the box was torn and it was $20, and I like didn't have the money, and I begged my mom to like front me $20 so I could buy it for chore money, and she obliged, and I still have it. It's awesome, and the price on that one has gone up pretty considerably, a lot more than $20. So yeah, that was the one good purchase I made from Sam Goody. Midnight Drew says, every time I listen to Palace, I imagine playing Rainbow Road and Super Mario 64 in the secret flying level. Yeah, I want to do the Rainbow Road music as a cover at some point. Maybe there will be an Equip 64 Part 2 at some point. I don't want to like overload the same idea over and over, but there's so many 64 games that I didn't get to with Equip 64. I kind of want to revisit it. Maybe I'll make some DLC for it. WKJR6S says, have you played Space Movie 1992? It's a new game for Xbox and PS5. No, I haven't. It's like an indie title on the eShop. I'll have to check that out. I haven't really like done too much browsing on the PS5 eStore because mostly because I've bought so many PS4 games lately, and I do have a problem of like spending more time looking for games than I do playing them. So I've really been trying to like hunker down and get into like beat the game mode lately. So Mr. Big Fart, I managed to speaking of getting sick deals, I got a copy of Eternal Darkness from the record store I used to work at, actually. It's really weird. The old like used product buyer, as soon as like Wii came out, she like stopped like putting GameCube games on the shelf. So I got that one out of the like Reckless Records clearance bin for $2. So I have a physical copy of Eternal Darkness, and it's been collecting dust ever since I got it in 2014 or so, maybe even earlier than that. I think I got that one in 2012 before the prices spiked on that one. So yeah, I've been wanting to play that at some point. Midnight Dream has been waiting over a month for Palace. Tracking number finally updated. Excited to finally play it. That's awesome. I haven't even seen the record in person yet. I haven't requested my artist copies yet. I was gonna wait until all of the remasters come out. Spoiler alert, there's one more still on the way. Synthetic Core 88 will be getting a well, not remaster, but repress. The audio is unchanged, but yeah, Synthetic Core 88 will also be getting a repress. So once that comes out, I'll ask Adam to send me a little care package with all the recent represses so I can see it. AKLJU Kanan, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, says, oh, I've been to the Exchange once, I think. I got a couple NES games from there. I usually go to Disc Replay now. Yeah, there's a Disc Replay where my folks live in Rockford, and I found some good deals there, too. There's a couple Disc Replays in Chicago, but they're like 30-minute drives out in the suburbs, so I don't go there as much. But I found some good scores there, and I don't know if they still do it, but they used to have a deal where it was like buy 5 used products, get 1 free. So you could buy like 5 $20 games and get another $25, or get another $20 game free. So it scales up, you know, like if you bought like, if you're crazy enough to buy like 5 $50 games, you get a free $50 game, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, Disc Replay is a nice used chain to go to too. Miles Dolding, I just installed a new screen in my original Game Boy. I've been wanting to do that. Like, it seems really cool. I want to do that with my Game Boy Color because I don't really enjoy the aesthetics of playing Game Boy Color games on my SP. Maybe I'll do my original Advance. That seems maybe a little bit more practical because I can play Advance games and I like the aesthetics of that. But yeah, I still have my like childhood Game Boy Color. I thought that'd be cool to like put a backlit screen into. Seffi's still waiting on vinyl. New Nintendo IPS XL. Very funny, R23X. Yeah, I hope everyone gets their stuff soon. I know how hard waiting on things in the mail can be. I ordered the Mega EverDrive Pro on Crix's Black Friday sale, and what it is it's a ROM cart for Sega Genesis that also plays Sega CD games without the need for the Sega CD attachment. So I thought that'd be awesome to add to my like little streaming cart setup here. You know, maybe I can get my webcam around to kind of show you the setup that I've built here, but I'm building like a separate setup so that I can stream here from my room and not have to like move stuff around. So real quick, I'll kind of see if I can get this in frame with the webcam. So yeah, I've got this all hooked up here with going through this VGA monitor. So I use the open source scan converter to, it's kind of back here, I don't know if you can see it. Really cool device that converts analog video to digital, and then it's going back to VGA. So yeah, I bought another switch dock so I can just kind of drop it in here, you know, from the TV in the living room. I actually scored the PSP Go dock on OfferUp the other day. It's really rare, and I got a really good deal on it. So PSP, the GameCube has the Game Boy Player attachment. I've got the EverDrive X5 in here for Game Boy Advance games. I also have the EverDrive GB X7 here for Game Boy Color games. Sega Saturn, which is modded with the Terra Onion Mode optical drive emulator. So you can't see it, but there's a 500 gigabyte solid state drive in the Saturn. So I've got the entire US and Japanese libraries on the system. My GD Emu modded Sega Dreamcast. This has a 256 gigabyte flash drive installed into it that has most of the Sega Dreamcast games I want to play, plus some cool fan translations. Got my SNES Junior with my custom EverDrive, you know, every single US and Japanese SNES game on there. Got my modded Xbox 360, my modded PS3, and my hard drive mod chipped PS2 with a 250 gig hard drive and most of the PS2 games I want to play, and then of course the Sega Genesis down there. So yeah, this is the new Stream Cart 2.0. I've been kind of putting it together over the past couple months. So yeah, this should really streamline the streaming process. There's going to be a whole lot less setup involved, and I won't have to like bring my TV or like unplug anything from the living room or bring the computer into the living room to play those consoles. So yeah, all of those are like plugged in and ready to rip. So I'm really excited to for all the game streams I'm going to do this year. So many options. Boy, the chat is now getting ahead of me here. I'm going to have to kind of blaze through quickly. Happy New Year, Vapex. Chuck loves eggs. What's up? Egg music rules. Antique Ball says, I saw something new on GBA Temp about sending signal to the 3DS this week. Not sure if it sends back to the computer, though. That must have been what I saw on eBay. That's interesting. I would pay extra to ship with UPS. With Electronica, USPS is the king of vinyl gore when I order from there. Yeah, I've seen so many like speared packages, or like the worst thing I ever saw was USPS totally folded a vinyl record to fit in somebody's mailbox. Just, I think it depends on your carrier. We're really lucky over here to have a good USPS carrier, and I'm super thankful of their service. But yeah, everybody complains about like the Yeti's high shipping costs, but like they send through UPS, you know, registered tracking. They buy the nice mailers and stuff. So like, it's either like, if you want media mail, you're just gonna kind of get your LP chucked around and possibly dinged for the corners and stuff. So yeah, sometimes it's worth paying extra to have your vinyl shipped correctly. R23X does merch for the events. EB Game's still going up here in Canada. Interesting. Commodore asks, Arc the Loud, is that the one that came with a watch? That might have been a pre-order bonus. Mine did not come with a watch, but it has these little jelly caps that you can put on the DualShock controllers, and it has like all these cardboard standees of the characters. It's got a map, like a cloth map, and then a hardbound book. And then the disc case is like the most insane case I've ever seen. It's like the slim cases. It's 2 slim cases that hold 2 discs each put together within a double disc case. So it's like something like 7 or 8 discs in one double disc case. It's insane. It's really cool. Midnight Dreams asks, this song sounds beautiful. What version of Midnight is this? This is from Cursebreaker Z, which is another Bandcamp subscription exclusive. So yeah, yet another reason to join the Bandcamp page here. Yeah, Cursebreaker Z is all like drum and bassless versions of the Cursebreaker tracks with different instrumentation. It's kind of like more pastoral and lullaby-like. But yeah, thanks for asking. FYE, yeah, I remember that. Chuck Loves Eggs. One of my friends worked there when I was in high school. It's kind of cool. Yeah, the watch was a pre-order bonus. Interesting. Yeah, the Arc the Lad collection is expensive, but it's not as expensive as I would think. I think it's still like, you know, under, maybe at the $120 range. Yeah, games should bring back sanity effects from Eternal Darkness. Yeah, if I remember right, I remember being on the phone with my friend when he was playing Eternal Darkness, and he started screaming, and I was like, what? And he was like, the game just deleted all my memory card data, like all of it. And I was like, what? And then, you know, like a couple of minutes later, he was like, oh, it's like part of the game. Like they like fake you out. They're like deleting entire memory card content. So yeah, I agree. Games should bring back sanity effects. Nick Setlift asks, you ever hear Frail Body? Cool Rockford band. No, that's crazy. Not too many people know about Rockford, but yeah, I'll try to look for Frail Body. Chances are I probably know one or all of the members. I feel like I know everyone in that town. Midnight Dreams says, once I get 88, my Equip final collection will be complete. Thank you, Equip. You're very welcome. Thanks for supporting. Josh says, Keith Rankin made an absolute masterpiece with both Cursebreaker and Palace. I agree, Josh. Yeah, I'm out in the suburbs area. That used deal, I think, only applies to CDs are the ones I go to. Valiant effort reading my username. Yeah, the last one I went to, I forgot where it was at, but it was like kind of buy a half-price books, and they did do the game. They did do the 5 get 1 free thing with games. So I don't know if they took it off or what, but that was an awesome deal. You heard of Cursebreaker X? Get ready for Cursebreaker A, B, C, etc. Yeah, it's definitely confusing. But yeah, there's Cursebreaker X, Cursebreaker Z, Cursebreaker 0. Yeah, there's going to be a Cursebreaker EP coming in 2021. So yeah, definitely. You go to the Clanton show in May if all goes well. Yeah, I feel like that's really ambitious to think that there's going to be shows in May, but like, I don't know. As soon as that vaccine is available, I'm going to take 5 shots of it. I'm slurping it up. Yeah, I'm not actually going to take more than 1 shot, but I'm so ready for COVID to be over. So yeah, if I can get to a Clanton show in May, I'm going for sure. Cliffy says Game Boy graphics are so good. Link's Awakening, PogChamp. Yeah, Link's Awakening was it's my favorite Zelda game, and the first one that I beat. So I've got very fond memories for that. I still have my original copies of Oracle of Ages and Seasons that I bought with my allowance money on launch day. I bought them both at once. Still have them boxed up on the shelf. Love those games. I also got some of the later Game Boy releases like Metal Gear Solid and Resident Evil Gaiden that I've been meaning to play for quite some time. Those are also just kind of getting collecting dust on the shelf. Little Liam says, there used to be a used game store near my parents' house, which I bought a few games from the guy working there. Said some dude cleaned them out of their good games and never bought new stock, so they were just sitting on trash dollar bin games, and they ended up closing the store. Yeah, that sucks when that happens, and I've seen that happen all too frequently. It kind of happened with People Play Games too. They never did sales, and like they had these kind of heavy hitter games that would just sit there, and it was like they were more expensive than they were on eBay. And I don't know, I always wondered, like, why not drop them to just a little bit below eBay to like incentivize people going into the brick and mortar and buy them? I know you got to cover your rent, but like what I learned at Reckless Records is it's better to underprice your hot products and keep moving them, and like, you know, pay a little bit more for used product to get good stuff in the store, but basically just keep moving product. And like that's the only way that you're going to survive as a used media chain. And I think that a lot of like used record stores and used media chains don't really get that, and they're like, I'm going to price this high because it's a, you know, it's a sought after collector's item, and the right buyer will come in someday. Well, the problem is like people come in and they see the high price and they get turned off by it, and it sits there, and then if your right buyer never comes in, then you've got this thing that's just really expensive and it's collecting dust when you can like be making room for new product, you know. Shops can incentivize people going in by constantly switching out the inventory, and I think that's something that Reckless really has grasped, and they're still around with 3 locations. So there you go. You know, more used video games should take a page out of that book. And Angie says, thanks for the chill. Can't believe people like the same things as me. It makes me happy. Yeah, I agree. Thanks for stopping by. Arizona Tea God, hope you're having a good New Year's too. Yeah, the wire racks are great for game setups because you can move them around and dust underneath them and switch out the cabling. You can also, they're great for cable management too. Yeah, scan lines changed my life. Yeah, for sure. I love the fake scan lines that the OSSC outputs. They look really awesome on the VGA monitor. Glad y'all like the stream setup. It's been in the works for a while. The PS5 Ed Jr. is in the living room on my 4K TV. Though I did bring it in here to do the Demon Souls stream. Have not tried the PS5 out on the monitor yet. I'll have to see if I can put the resolution to 720p. I bet it'll look awesome. The PS3 and the Xbox 360 look incredible at 720p on a VGA monitor. They're so cool. It just like, it makes them look so crisp because usually you're used to seeing them blowing up on a big TV at 1080p, but if you down res them to 720 and then put them on an analog display, like, it just looks insane. And this Dell is a aperture grill screen, and the longer you leave it warmed up, like the better it looks. Like the blacks are just super deep and crisp. And I'd say that the screen quality of this CRT is on par with an OLED. No joke. It's like one of the best looking displays in the house. So it's become my go-to display for retro gaming stuff. Yeah, that's as close as you'll get to a MTV Cribs there, Fighting Island. R23X says, I'll stop joking about IPS 2021. Seeing your ISIS, you read me say IPST for the 900th time to retire the joke for a bit. I gotta say, R23X, the IPS joke never gets old, so please don't stop. Shabroki, yes, EverDrives are expensive, but if you consider, you know, like, I always justify the fact that you're basically able to put the entire system's library on an SD card and run them from there. So it's a one-time investment. And if you're not an obsessive collector like me, or if you are an obsessive collector like me, I think they offer good value. So like, for instance, like, you know, EverDrive X5, this was $100, but I wanted to play Mother 3 on original Game Boy Advance hardware, so it's really the only way that I can play a fan translation without resorting to an emulator and, you know, have the proper timings for the button combos and stuff. There's like some cool rare Game Boy Advance games like Ninja 5.0. That one is over the $100 range. So I'd say, like, for me, it kind of quells the desire to buy expensive games. I already have so many games in my collection that are expensive, and as I get older, I'm starting to see that I have like more games than I even have time to play anymore. So it's great to get an EverDrive because you read about a cool game like that, and you know, I think emulators are great, but I always prefer to play on original hardware when I can. So for me, it kind of quells the desire to like continually buy expensive games. So I'd say they're expensive, but they're worth it. And all this stuff that you're looking at, it's like I've built this up over the past like 5 years, you know, kind of like selling other things to fund it. I bought so many records for half price when I worked at Reckless, so a lot of times I'll sell records that I bought really cheap, and then with that money in my PayPal, I'll use that to fund an EverDrive purchase. Also, the EverDrive store has a Black Friday sale every year where they're 20% off, so I pretty much exclusively, with a few exceptions here and there, I limit myself to one EverDrive a year, and I buy it during the Black Friday sale. The Game Boy Advance EverDrive, I actually cheated and I bought this one in like March or something this year because it just dropped. It was new, and yeah, I really wanted to play Mother 3, so I broke my 1 a year rule, but that's okay. For Wavebirds, I'm jelly. Back in my GameCube days, we had 3 with Mad Cats for that 4th place in Smash TUs. You know what I like more than the Wavebirds, Mr. Big Fart, is the RAFnet SNES to GameCube controller adapter. I'll show you here. So this is by RAFnet Technologies, and it allows you to hook up a Super Nintendo or Super Famicom controller to your GameCube. Really, really cool stuff. And yeah, I like to use that to play the Game Boy Advance games. Love getting mail from the Yeti. Pay extra for good shipping. R23X says, can you give me the emails of everyone who complained about Yeti shipping? Yes, I will. What are you going to do with those emails there, R23X? By the way, have you played Bloodstained? I got it for Christmas and I couldn't put it down until I beat it. Yes, in fact, you know what I was going to do is I was going to do a like best games I played this year. And I guess this is a good kind of transition to get into that. I did play Bloodstain. I beat it earlier this year, and I loved it. I thought it was excellent all the way through. Really, really cool game. Shibroki, yes, the Crix EverDrives are still the best. There's some new competition now, like Terra Onion. They do the Mega SG flash cartridge, but I opted to get the Crix Mega EverDrive Pro instead of the Mega SG. For one, it's about $80 cheaper. It has the same Sega CD support. So yeah, there's alternatives now, but I still like the I still really like the Crix ones. I think that the support is really good. He updates the firmware pretty continually, and I think more people have the Crix products. So like for the Super Nintendo, people like basically homebrewed in support for all the expansion chips. So like now you can play like Super FX chips and stuff, which was not an original function of the SD to SNES flash cartridge. So I like the Crix products because they're continuously updated, and like there's new features that are added in. Like the Famicom EverDrive, they just added in like the somebody made a support for like the FM synthesis based games, like Lagrange Point has an extra chip on it for FM synthesis. So somebody basically made a core for the onboard FPGA inside of the cartridge to support FM audio, which is, I think, awesome. And that just, that was updated like last week. So, you buy the product and it just keeps getting better and better. So yeah, I really, really like the Crix products. Imagine if Equips played Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Yeah, maybe one of these days there, Ed Jr. Yeah, Bloodstained is an A+ game. My only complaint about Bloodstained is I thought the world, like the map was like a little bit too big. Like, I think by the time they introduced like the Oriental research lab, I was just like, okay, really? You're gonna add another area to the game? Like, what more could they possibly add? Like, what more themes could they possibly add to this? And it's just like, it's a lab with like cherry blossom trees or something. I was like, okay, it seems like they're kind of stretching it at this point, but it's such a minor complaint. The game is beautiful, and I really, really like it. Mr. Big Fart says, has anyone played Blasphemous? It has like a Dark Souls as a Metroidvania. I did play that one, and I thought it was kind of, I don't know, the art style, it was cool at first, but it's hard to see what's going on screen. I feel like they really went crazy with like the particle effects and stuff. There's another shooter called Valfaris that's kind of like that too. Maybe no, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Valfaris, and I'm thinking of Slain. Sorry, not Blasphemous, Slain. Those two games are very similar, and the art style is like really pixel dense, and it's one of those things where there's no like outlines on the pixel art, so like it's hard to see what's in the background and what's in the foreground. I appreciate those new pixel art style games, but I really prefer sprites that have black backgrounds around the pixels. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I was going to kind of get into my my kind of best games of 2020, stuff that I really, really liked. So first of all, I gotta say, Final Fantasy VII Remake is the first one that comes to mind as being like one of my most favorite games that I played this year. It's so cool. I honestly had low expectations for it. I think because the development cycle went on so long, it just seemed like it was never gonna come out. And sure enough, it came out, and it's amazing. They did a really, really good job, and you know, it's not like perfect by any means, but I think it's as close to perfect as they could get with a remake of this caliber. And I mean, I cannot believe the visuals and like how far they pushed the PS5 or the PS4 for this game. I mean, it just looks incredible, and it looks like beyond what you normally ever see running on the PS4. So I played this game via PS5. It has PS4 Pro enhancements. It runs at a higher resolution, I think 1650p with a dynamic resolution. It's locked to 30 frames per second. I didn't really ever see it dip below that. I thought that would bother me, but like, it's pretty smooth. They did a really good job with like the frame interpolation and using per object motion blur on the animation, and it looks pretty smooth throughout, and I think it has one of the best battle systems I've ever played out of any game. Like, I swear I fantasized about this kind of a battle system when I was a little kid, like an active RPG, and they really just pulled it off. You know, like it's got the action elements, and when you like pause and everything slows down, it's just so cool. I love it. Oh, Clone is rating with a party of 4. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone that's here. We're just kind of chatting and hanging out. Feel free to ask me questions and stuff. I'm talking about my favorite games of the year so far. So Midnight Dream, thanks for stopping by. Take care and have a nice night. Yeah, Commodore, I know you really liked Final Fantasy VII R2. Tech loved it as well and beat the game several times and watched other people beat the game as well. The battle system is perfect. They took the best stuff from Final Fantasy 15 and fixed the broken stuff. I agree. Final Fantasy 15 felt a little too, I don't know, cut and dry for me. It was just kind of, I mean, I still like it. I like the vibe and everything, but it didn't seem quite as interactive. So, oh, TJ Terry, just subscribe to the Bandcamp fan club. Thank you so much if you're watching. Really appreciate it. Ed Junior played the demo. It's pretty solid. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Incredible game. Moving on, I can't not mention the Demon's Soul PS5 remake. It's incredible. I beat it last night. It's just amazing. I've never really experienced a launch title like this before. It's another level of detail and I mean, it just sucked me in. It really just pulled me into the world. And the 3D sound from the PS5, the graphics, the level of detail, the soundtrack, everything is just so artfully done and directed. I could go off about this game forever, but it's literally like, it looks like a work of art, like you're moving within a painted realm. Everything's just so, the attention to detail is so extremely high. And this is the first Souls game that I've beaten. I finished it last night. But I just cannot believe how enthralled I am with this game. And it definitely has earned a spot on my top games of 2020 slot. These are not, ranked or anything. They're just kind of here, I'm just going to kind of chat about things. But yeah, it's so cool. Chris Paz, I agree with you about the ending for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't played it. It's a little wacky. I understand that they had to kind of finish it off. You spent 50 hours in Midgar, which is the first 5 or so hours of the original game. So I think that they were just kind of looking for a way to end the game. They did it in a very strange way. That's really my only gripe about the game, though, is the ending, and don't let that stop you from playing it if you're curious. So, Reeves says, speaking of Demon's Souls, when you streamed it, I went and played Adventures of Cookies and Cream. It hurt my brain. I always used to see that on the used GameStop racks, and I was always curious about it, but I never played it. So, one of these days, maybe I'll put it on my PS2. Moving on. Speaking of PS5, I gotta mention Astro's Playroom. This one really took me by surprise. I'm not usually a 3D platformer kind of guy. I really like Super Mario 64, of course. Really sick game. But I never got into the Crash Bandicoot games. I never really got into the Ratchet and Clank games or the Jak and Daxter games. So, 3D platformers just not really my thing. But the way that they did this game is just so cool, and it's really they show you how to use. They show off all of the new features of the PS5 in such a cool way. The haptic feedback on the triggers is so awesome, and it's Sony basically celebrating and making fun of themselves. It's really cool if you're into kind of gaming history as much as I am. As you can see there, they got they unlocked the 6-axis controller. But basically, all of the unlockables and collectibles in this game are all of the accessories from every single PlayStation console. And they have literally everything in here that was first-party Sony. You can get the online adapter for the PS2 and all of these crazy things. What a delight. I really, really liked Astro's Playroom. So another one that I played is I got Miles Morales for PS5, but I've yet to play Miles Morales. I wanted to play Spider-Man first. So Spider-Man Remastered is really, really excellent. The level of quality here is amazing. I never played the original PS4 game, so it was really, really cool to play it for the first time on PS5 in 60 frames per second. The way that they did the combat and the dodging and the web swinging mechanics is just brilliant. It feels I don't know, it just makes you feel like Spider-Man. I can't really describe it any other way. It's so simple, but it's so perfect. The punching and dodging under enemies and whipping them around and throwing things at enemies and stuff. You see it in the videos and it's wow, that guy must be really good. But they just make it so that it's easy and intuitive to do. And having the triggers be your web slingers and all the different gadgets they put in the game. Not to mention just the beautiful open world New York that they added is just so cool. There's definitely some, this scene here, there's definitely some quick time events that are kind of depending on how you feel about QTEs. But they're pretty minimal in the long run, and the game is just beautiful. It's just gorgeous, and I love it. I highly recommend Spider-Man. If you have a PS4, you know, grab the PS4 version. If you've got the PS5, you can get the Miles Morales Ultimate Launch Edition. It comes with a download code, and now I think that they have it on the PS4 store or the PS5 store separate for like $50 or whatever, $40 maybe. But yeah, it's seriously just, it's a beautiful game. It's so excellent. I love it. I highly recommend it. We got Ed Jr. just subscribed. Nah Boy just subscribed. Dan Soko just subscribed. Carissa just subscribed to the fan club. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all y'all joining in. I hope you'll stick around for a while. I've got lots of cool things planned into 2021. So, yeah, I'll make it worth your while. I promise. Catching up here. Oh yeah, Wutangi says like the GPS adapter for the PSP. Yeah, I didn't even know about that, Wutangi, and now all of a sudden I wanna track down a GPS adapter for the PSP. It's too cool. So yeah, more 2020 games here. I'd be remiss without mentioning Doom Eternal. You know, I've always been a huge fan of the Doom series, and it's crazy what they did with this game. It's really, really, the motion and the combat and the gunplay and just the stability of the game. I can't believe how well this runs even on low-end hardware. They just optimized the hell out of it. And this new id Tech engine is just downright insane. Like the level of graphical detail and the speed that they can get out of it is just crazy. And I played this on my old GPU. It was a 1660 GTX 1660 Super, which is, you know, it's a budget GPU. I think I got it for $200 or something, and it ran the game flawlessly at like 1440p at like, you know, 90 to 100 frames per second. Of course, I played on a 4K TV, which is limited to 60 hertz, but even then, it was so good. Loved Doom Eternal, loved everything about it. Highly recommend it. It's just so cool. It's everybody hated the new enemy, the Marauder, but honestly, I kind of liked it. I thought it was a cool challenge. It's definitely an overpowered enemy, more so than the rest of the game. But like, I appreciated that boss fight for what it was. Now, when you put that guy in the room with all the other guys, it's like, that was like one of the hardest fights, was like when there's a Marauder and then a ton of other people around. You really, really have to just get your, you know, all the enemies had different weaknesses for their different guns and stuff. So you really have to get good at scrolling through your weapons quickly, having your shortcuts mapped properly, and you know, getting good at the game. But yeah, Doom Eternal, excellent 2020 release. The last 2020 release I have on my list here is Streets of Rage 4. This one, I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but it's a really, you know, I had low expectations for this one too. Honestly, all of them were put aside when I got like the first stage of the game. Like, the art style's not my favorite. I really prefer the old pixel style ones, but geez, like they put in so much cool attention to detail. The enemy AI is like pretty smart. All of the characters play differently. It's really, really cool. I would highly recommend checking out Streets of Rage 4. You know, it's only like $20 now. It performs really well on all platforms, you know, Switch, PS4, PC, whatever version you get, it's gonna play awesome. I played it on the Switch with my two roommates. We co-opted it and just blazed through the game and had an awesome time. So I really, really recommend Streets of Rage 4. So those were all of the games that I really loved that came out in 2020. I played a lot of games that came out, you know, before 2020, so I want to not ignore those either. But yeah, first one that comes to mind is Doom 2016. I hadn't played this one before, and you know, I built my this is kind of the first year I've had a PC since like high school or whatever, so it was kind of time to catch up on some PC classics. And I just can't believe how good this game still looks, you know, from 2016. The graphics are incredible, the lighting's incredible. The gameplay is they just have such a good balance of like these indoor outdoor areas, these kind of big arena like areas, you know, all kind of embellished on in Doom Eternal, of course, but Doom 2016 felt to me more like the old school Quake games, Quake 2 specifically. So I really liked Doom 2016. I've heard the multiplayer is cool too, but I never gave it a shot. So yeah, as far as catching up goes, Doom 2016. The next one on my list is Control for the PC. Highly recommend this game. It's so cool. I did not get around to playing this game in 2019 because I didn't have a PC, and I'd heard mixed things about the frame rates running on consoles. Not to mention, you know, my roommate has a Xbox and my other roommate has PS4, but I just didn't get around to playing it till this year. And I played it on PC, and oh my god, this game is so beautiful. You know, with the RTX 3080, I'm lucky enough to run it on, you know, maxed out ray tracing settings, and I gotta say, I think this might be some of the best video game graphics I've ever seen. It's really hard to tell from like videos and screenshots, but it is just insanely detailed, and especially the stuff with the reflections and the textures. They are just so cool. You know, like I paused the game to go into photo mode and like zoomed way in on like the gun, and like from the reflection on the gun I could see like elements of like the ceiling reflected on it. So like they've really just tuned in the reflections to such a small like nano area. It's remarkable. The more you get into the game, the more powers you get, and the gunplay is interesting. The powers are awesome. The like cool like particle effects and like the way these enemies move and the vapor trails that come off of them, it's just it's entrancing, and it's beautiful to watch. It's absolutely gorgeous in motion. So I think that this was like probably I gotta say, between Demon's Souls and Final Fantasy VII Remake, Control is up there for one of my favorite games that I've played of this year. And you might not know it from looking at footage and stuff, but it's like a 3D Metroidvania style game. Like you get access to the map as you go along and gain new powers and gain keycards and stuff, but it's all one big continuous map, and you are frequently, you know, finding passageways that return you to areas that you were at previously, and the level design is quite well done. I love the whole sense of like the brutalist architecture, and it's like fractalizing and changing, and the story really kept me entranced till the end. The story, it's just so cool. You know, I just can't recommend this game enough. I feel like it got swept under the rug or something, and I feel like it's really underrated, and more people should have a chance to play it. Especially if you like stuff like Twin Peaks and X-Files. Remedy Entertainment that made this game, they did the Max Payne series, and they also did the Xbox 360 favorite Alan Wake, which I've been meaning to get. But this game takes place within the same universe as Alan Wake, and I haven't played Alan Wake yet, but I hear it's got kind of similar themes of like, you know, dark mystery and intrigue, and has that kind of X-Files vibe. So yeah. Oh man, I just saw a donation here. Trash Ghost donated $10. Thank you so much, Trash Ghost. Happy New Year to you too. Nice to have you join us tonight, and thanks for stopping by. Trash Ghost, what a guy. I see Dark Side says, I want to get Control, but my PC kind of sucks booty for it. You know what? I think it's pretty well optimized. I played it on my 1660, you know, without the ray tracing, of course, and got it to run at least like 60 frames per second. There was a couple frame drops in areas with like heavy enemies and stuff, but I feel like you can lower the texture resolution. There's enough compromises that you can make where you can still get the core gameplay out of it and still run it on older hardware. It's pretty well optimized in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I was able to play it just fine on a Ryzen 2700 and a GTX 1660. So yeah, I don't know. Chris Paz says, waiting for the PS5 version of Control. Yeah, you know, I almost want to play it again. I can't imagine the PS5 version will be that much better than the PC version, but I am excited for this game to get a new audience, especially if the PS5 can support all the ray tracing options, which I don't see why it shouldn't. I mean, the PS5 does ray tracing really well, so yeah. I would say that overall gameplay experiences, this was the most fun that I had playing the game in 2020 is Control, so highly recommended. Another game that kind of slipped under the radar for me till 2020 is Astral Chain for the Switch. Really excellent game. Really excellent game. There's a great Digital Foundry video here on it. The visuals are really, really great for the Switch. The frame rate is a locked 30, and it feels solid as hell. You know, usually you think 30, like, it's gonna chug or whatever, but, like, this game also, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, does a really good job with, like, per-object motion blur and frame interpolation, and it just has this really awesome feel to it. And the story is great. It's really enthralling. I haven't finished this yet, but it plays awesome in both portable and docked mode. It looks especially cool on the CRT. I like to play it in 720 mode on the CRT. It's by far my favorite way of displaying the game. But yeah, Platinum Games, Switch exclusive. If you like games like Bayonetta, I think you're gonna love Astral Chain. It just kind of, this one kind of got swept under the rug too, and of course, like other Switch games, it's never gone on sale. It's still full price, $60. I think Best Buy recently had like a $40 Switch game sale, but I don't know. I would recommend paying for this game. It's really, really cool. If you're an action game fan, it hits all of the spots that you want to see with action games. And, you know, Platinum, they're just the king of action games. But yeah, it's visually stunning. It's got this cool sense of progression. At first, it seems kind of like, oh, this is it with the combat, but then, like, you get all of these these beasts that are chained to you that help you fight, and you control them separately, like with the other analog stick. So it kind of reminded me of the combat in the game The World Ends With You for DS, where you're basically controlling two characters at once. So yeah, you get more add-on, you know, monsters basically. You get like bow and arrow and like a berserker one, and the more you play the game, the more fun it gets. So highly recommend Astral Chain. It's so cool. The soundtrack is awesome too. I actually like to listen to it while I do exercises in my room, especially the like HQ music while you're just like patrolling the HQ. It's really, really cool. A lot of bangers. Chris Paz, I'm looking at some earlier comments, says, someone ported Quake 2 to the Oculus. Question's great. That's awesome. I'd love to play Quake on Oculus. Another game that I played a little bit of is Quake 2 RTX. I had to try that out on with the ray tracing, and that is, man, it's crazy how they made such an old game look so beautiful. But yeah, love that. Love Astral Chain. Sad Weeb says Astral Chain slapped. Wish I finished it, to be honest. Yeah, I'm still playing through it. I'm probably like 75% through, but I really, really want to finish it. Treshko says, yeah, I passed on that, but might be more open-minded in 2021 with some of these games. Yeah. I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. It's so cool. It's got this awesome cyberpunk aesthetic. Yeah, you play as a cop. That was like my only gripe is like, I hate playing as cops or like cop-like characters in games, but like, I don't know, you're not like beating down civilians or anything. You're fighting these weird demonic entities in the astral plane. So I was willing to kind of overlook the cop-friendly themes of this game. But yeah, Astral Chain for sure. Awesome game. Mother 3, of course. It's got to make the list. You know, I beat Earthbound a couple years back, but I never played Mother 3. If you want to get really meta, well, if I want to get really meta here, we'll pull up one of my Mother 3 streams. This game really captured my heart, and I really look forward to finishing it someday. You know, I'll probably stream the rest of it. But yeah, I really, really love this game. It's got such a cool vibe, and the fan translation is really on the nose and funny. It's awesome. I love it. So yeah, Mother 3. As far as, you know, best games I played in 2020. And rounding off the list here, before I get into some of the music stuff, is I started to play through the Resident Evil series on PC this year, and I gotta say, they did an awesome job with the Resident Evil GameCube version, Resident Evil HD Remaster. It looks incredible on the PC. Like, this game holds up still so well. And, you know, I've gotten, like, to the end several times on the original one. I got to the end on, like, the PS, or on the DS version, but I never finished the game until this year. And it was really cool to just see through the entire game on PC, you know, high resolution assets. They did, I don't know what they did for the backgrounds, but they look better than ever. And it's got that cool pre-rendered background style that you used to see on like PS1, PS2 games, that you just don't see anymore. And yeah, the character models are awesome. And yeah, so I played through the Resident Evil HD Remaster and Resident Evil 0 HD. Both just excellent games. Unmatched vibe and aesthetic. Just phenomenal games. I played with a Xbox One controller on the PC. Loved it. So yeah, also the I gotta mention Resident Evil 2. I played the Dreamcast version. I beat both discs. I've never beaten Resident Evil 2 before. I still haven't played the remake, but yeah, the originals, like, that is master game design. You know, you got Hideki Kamiya of Platinum Games directed those, which I didn't really find out until after I beat it, but that was like one of the first games he directed, and it's just so excellent. Like, it expands on everything from the original Resident Evil and just adds more stuff, and I really enjoyed playing through it twice, you know, as Claire and Leon. Yeah, just sick games. Some honorable mentions here, because I haven't beaten them yet and they didn't come out in 2020, but I will mention them. Death Stranding, specifically PC version. It runs in 4K. It runs, you know, at high frame rates. I believe the PS4 version is locked to 1080p, 30 frames per second. Still looks great, but man, I gotta admit, I booted up a pirated version of this just to see how it would run before I got my new graphics card, and it's really well optimized. I'm going to buy the game because it's got online features that I feel like make the game better. But I mostly just wanted to see how it ran before I made the purchase. I think it's still on sale via Epic or Steam or something for a couple more days. So I'm probably going to buy this one. But, you know, what more can you say? Hideo Kojima is just like a master of game design. It's so good. Someone says, is this Darren? Let's see. Shikaro, it looks like. But yeah, it's Hideki, sorry, not Hideki Kamiya, Hideo Kojima. Yeah, just the beginning cinematics. It's just so compelling and enthralling. I know a lot of people called it a walking simulator or said it was boring or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I really liked the environmental design. I liked the stealth mechanics. I liked everything about it, and I look forward to playing more of it in 2021. So there's that. Also, too, another game I largely ignored and now am loving is Nier Automata, and or Nier Automata. I'm not sure how exactly you pronounce that, but this is another game that the PC port is a little bit broken. I had to download the FAR tool, the what is it, the Automata resolution fixer tool or whatever. After that, it runs pretty well. And this is another game that's like, it's beautiful. I mean, just look at this. It's gorgeous. It's like, you know, not really texturally dense. And some of the textures are very low res, but like overall the world design and the character design is great. And the combat mechanics are awesome. I mean, on the surface, it seems like a simple hack and slash, but it's really great. I love it, and I look forward to playing more of this one too in 2021. I've only really played for like a couple of hours so far, so yeah. looking forward to getting more into Nier Automata, and I know that they're remaking Nier Replicant for PS4, so I'll probably pick that one up as well when that becomes available. Yeah, Darkside says, I've only played the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake. I never played the other games besides Revelations 1 and 2. I've been meaning to play those Revelations games. I remember playing the demo of Revelations on 3DS and being pretty amazed by the graphics on the 3DS at the time. But I'd like to play those in either on PC or PS5 if I can. And yeah, I really want to play those remakes too. I'm halfway through Resident Evil 3, the original, and I wanted to beat the original first before I try the remakes, just so I can kind of see what they've changed. Ed Jr. is digging the DJ Prom Night requests. Thank you. Oh, Darkside says Death Stranding is $25 on GMG. That's awesome. I've never bought anything from GMG before. Is that like a CD key reseller? If they're trustworthy, I'll check it out. I know that I know a lot of people have some opinions about Epic Games too, but I think it's $30 on there, and I have a $10 off coupon, so it'll make it $20. So I'm thinking about getting it on Epic Games. I'm not really sure. I don't really love their business ethos or their launcher, but if it means playing the game with the online settings for $20, I might bite. I've got so much stuff to play in the meantime that, yeah, I'm not in a hurry, but I might check it out while it's on sale. I'm guilty of buying stuff on sale to play later. So, Trushko says Automata. Okay, that's good to know. I don't know why I always want to call it Automata. I've heard people pronounce it different ways. Seth Reed says I played Nier once and stopped, and I have huge regrets. Chris Paz says yes, Nier Automata is one of the best games ever made. Yeah, the soundtrack, like the opening mission, how cool is that? Like, let's see if I can pull it up here. Like it hooked me, immediately, because I love shmups, and it starts off with like a shmup section that changes, from like a vertical scrolling shmup to a horizontally, it goes vertical to horizontal to like twin stick shooter to like all of these different like play mechanics before you're even on foot. Which I thought was just amazing. So yeah, the music too, right away I was like pumped, like, yeah, let's do this. And of course I died to the first boss and had to restart the game because there's no save points. So that was the only bummer about it. And of course initially when I installed it on my PC, it detected like the lowest possible resolution my monitor was capable of. So it would only output in like 720p or whatever, but the FAR Automata tool or whatever fixed the issues. So yeah, highly recommend it. Trashko says I love the crossover with Final Fantasy 14. I didn't know about that. The Nier raids in Final Fantasy 14 are sick. Interesting. I haven't heard about that. Mr. Big Fart says Far Tool. I'll support that. Very funny. Chris Paz was not prepared for the insane story. Yeah, for sure. Make sure to keep playing Nier after the credits. There's so much more to see. Yeah, I definitely will. What is it, like a 20-hour game or something? I feel like maybe I should squeeze this one in before I start 13 Sentinels. Just finish it off real quick. Very interesting. You know what, Kern 77, I don't really maintain a Steam library. I don't really have a whole lot of Steam games. Most of the games I have, I've like gotten from sales on other stores. And I can't even think of my Steam handle offhand. I made it like years ago. But yeah, I don't really play a whole lot of like multiplayer PC games, so it wouldn't really do you that much use anyway. Yeah, Green Man Gaming is totally legit. I bought tons of games from them, and they almost always have a discount code. That's good to know. It's good to know. I've seen them before. The only time I bought like a code from a code reseller was cdkeys.com had 12 months of PS Plus for like $29, I think, during the holiday sale. So I got that, and it worked just fine. So Trashko says, did you talk about games you were disappointed in 2020? No, we're doing positive stuff only this stream. In fact, there weren't a whole lot of games that I played that I was disappointed in, so not much to mention there either. Little Liam says there's like 20 endings for Nier. That's crazy. Yeah, it's really enthralling, and I really want to see, you know, at least one of the endings so far. So Current 77 says, I don't do much multiplayer of Steam either, but I get a big library from sales, free ones, etc. Yeah, that's I frequent the Cheap Ass Gamers website, and I like to check out sales and stuff there. I'm kind of guilty of, you know, shopping more than I play, and I'm trying to kind of reverse that this year, but yeah, it's easy to do. You know, real quick before my time is up here, I wanted to talk about some music I really liked this year. That's kind of it for the games, but you know, of course we got I'm gonna kind of blast through this real quick, but if I go longer than 9, it's not a big deal. The DDS I'll Try Living Like This Masterpiece Edition vinyl reissue, super cool. I'm not surprised that they were able to sell it out so quickly. I missed out on a copy, so maybe hopefully either James or Tech will get some artist copies later down the line, and I'll be able to trade them something for it. But yeah, beautiful reissue there. You know, while we're on the 100p page, FM Skyline Lightwear, amazing release from FM Skyline. Was definitely one of the soundtracks to my summer. Really loved it. Love the whole vibe and the kind of the simplicity of it. You know, I think he stuck with 2 sounds, DX7 and like I forgot what drum machine he used, but it just works so well. And yeah, I got a lot of mileage out of that one. George Clanton and Nick Hexum, this one also took me by surprise. I'm not a 311 fan by any means, but I really loved Nick Hexum and George Clanton. Amazing release. I love the vocals too. Everything's just so cool about this, the pop vibe, the kind of slacker stoner rock vibe. Man, what a good summer jam. I listened to this a lot, like while riding my bike around this summer. So speaking of DDS, they've got a really great fan club that they just launched. Let me pull that up here. I joined this just today because James originally was like, don't join it, I'll just send you everything for free if you send me all the Equips Pick stuff for free. And then James went and joined Equips Pick, so I was like, okay, well now I have to join New World Club. But yeah, the Sea World 2 and Taisai, I haven't listened to Yellow Lost Flower yet, but these are both just amazing albums. I was lucky enough to hear Taisai performed live when we went on tour in Japan together, so that one's awesome. And I love the original SeaWorld. It's just so good, and hearing Tech's sequel, SeaWorld 2, really got me through some kind of rough parts of this summer. So I got to listen to it before it came out, before they announced it. So yeah, really awesome, really awesome. Steffi says, I finally bought Lightwear the other day. That's awesome. I still don't have the vinyl yet. I gotta get that. Sadweep says, love this tape, such as a good summer jam. Are you talking about Lightwear or George Clanton? Nick Hexum. Both are amazing. Both are good summer jams. Trash Ghost confirms that the DDS fan club is amazing for sure. Java Joe, what is up? Yeah, new album just released today. You know, it's funny, from the thumbnail, I thought that this was, especially because I just beat Demon Souls, I thought that this was the old monk from Demon Souls. I was like, wow, I didn't know James and Tech were into the Soulsborne series. You know, for comparison, I'll show you the old monk. It's got this giant, you know, yellow head wrap thing. But yeah, the first time I saw the oops, I messed up here. First time I saw that thumbnail earlier today, I was like, asked James, I was like, is that supposed to be the old? Oh no, it's totally different. But you can kind of see how it looks like that. There and there. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, moving on. We go to the Spotify now. This album by Ryu Senki and Hitomi Talio. It's a very varied album. There's a lot of musical diversity in here, but it's like straight out of like, I mean, it sounds like a new Steely Dan album or something, mixed with like Hitomi Toei vocals and some of her kind of dancier stuff. So 2 of my favorite Japanese musicians collaborating. I've gotten to both of these musicians through James Webster, obviously. So it was cool to see both of them put out a brand new album together this year. So yeah, I highly recommend Talio. by Ryusenki, and Hitomi Toy. I know James really liked that one too. It's a really long album. It's like 21 tracks and maybe over an hour, and the sequencing is a bit odd. There's a couple tracks that don't seem like they quite fit, but overall, I think it's really, really cool. Really good effort. Next up is, I gotta say, this might be my most listened to album of the year, and it's Haim, Women in Music Part 3. It is, this album just slaps. Like, these, they're all three sisters apparently, and they're all super talented. They write and play everything on the album. You know, when I first heard about Haim, I kind of thought that they were going to be like a major label produced, like really produced pop act, but it's not. It's like, it sounds like old like Fleetwood Mac and Joni Mitchell, and I love this album. I've listened to these tracks so many times. Specifically, Don't Wanna is awesome, Gasoline is awesome, but the whole album just is really solid through and throughout. Really incredible effort from Haim. If you're new to Haim, I'd say this is a great starting point. This is my favorite album by them so far. I really liked their last album too a lot, but this one is just awesome. And yeah, easily my most listened to album this year. Sounds kind of crazy, but yeah, it definitely takes a cake. So yeah, another one too that popped up on my my most listened to is, of course, one of my favorite artists, Jessie Lanza. Her new album, All the Time. I didn't even know that this came out until like halfway through the summer, and I was literally listening to it all the time, just kind of rinsing it, you know, playing it over and over and over again. And it's so cool. It's got a lot of like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, like kind of like cool production. There's a song that it started off, the song Alexander started off as a Alexander O'Neill cover of A Broken Heart Can Mend, and she kind of turned it into her own thing. But yeah, I love Jessie Lanza. Super underrated. Probably the best artist that Hyperdub has signed post-Burial, in my opinion. Love her stuff. Can't recommend her enough. I also really, really liked the Charlie XCX album, How I'm Feeling Now. I didn't think I'd like this one as much as I did, but you know, I'm a big fan of Charlie. I've liked all her previous albums. This one is like just like emotionally potent. It's a bomb of awesomeness. It's so cool. I mean, like all of these songs, like the lyrics are relatable and everything like hits really hard, and the production is immaculate. You know, it's all like it's done by that PC Music guy and kind of some of their cohorts. Yeah, at Junior, there is a Quip fan club Discord server. I'll send you the invite when I get a chance. But yeah, Charlie XCX, How I'm Feeling Now. Highly recommend it. What else do I have on my list? Oh, of course, the new Fire Tools release, Rainbow Bridge. And I was lucky enough to have Angel send me this one back when Field Whispers dropped in 2019. So I've actually had Rainbow Bridge for like a year before it dropped, and it's awesome. It's so cool. I mean, it's the ultimate evolution of Angel's sound as Fire Tools, and I mean, it's like Muzak meets death metal in the best possible way. Can't get enough of this one. I'm still jamming it. You know, Fire Tools is always, you can always count on Fire Tools for like high value production and mastering, and this one is, of course, no exception. So Fire Tools Rainbow Bridge, awesome. Moving on, Tomoyo Harada is one of my favorite discoveries from like late last year, and this album Candlelights kind of got me into her. I didn't realize it, but she was like she's done a lot of stuff as far back as like even the 80s. Like she did a lot of like city pop releases and stuff, but she's still working on stuff. Her stuff now is a lot more mellow, a lot more maybe what you'd call adult contemporary. But this Love Songs Volume 3, You and Me, it's a compilation of tracks that she's done on some of her previous albums over the past decade or so. And they're just all these beautiful kind of traditional love songs done in a really cool style. There's a bunch of collaborations and duets on here too. There's one with Taiko Onuki, which is incredible, like how good of shape Taiko Onuki's voice is in still. There's a duet with Hiromi Hosono of Yellow Magic Orchestra, and there's some other kind of various remixes and stuff that she's done on previous releases. So I highly recommend this one. It's really cool that like a lot of the Tomoyo Harada catalog is now available for English listeners on Spotify, because that was not the case pretty recently. Like this older one, Garden, is really cool if you like like early 90s Ryuichi Sakamoto or Haruomi Hosono stuff. It's kind of in the same style, kind of cool production. But yeah, her newer stuff is really mellow and really chill, and I love it. So I highly recommend, Tomoyo Harada. Getting into Bandcamp stuff that's maybe not necessarily on Spotify. Let's take a look. I don't think this is on here, but okay. So AOTQ, their older stuff is on Spotify, Alone and eMusic, but they did a new album this year. That was probably my first favorite album of 2020, called Magical Gadget. It's a short EP, and it's all done with Miku Vocaloid. So there's 4 tracks, but it's just incredibly potent how much AOTQ is able to get out of Miku. It's the best use of Miku I've ever heard. I'm not really into a lot of Vocaloid stuff, but I just keep coming back to this one over and over and over again. So highly recommended. AOTQ is an awesome visual artist too, and does all the art for their own releases. So I highly recommend you pick up Magical Gadget, as well as the singles that came out before that. This one, Farewell Song, as well as I don't know what the Japanese stands for, but AOTQ, man, I just love their stuff. I messaged them actually a while back and asked if they wanted to do a collaboration, and it seems they were familiar with my work, and we haven't started on anything, but it might happen at some point. I would really, really love to work with them. So also on Bandcamp and not on Spotify is there was a Diskette Park release that came with the what was it? Private Suite Magazine, RIP. Diskette Park Curve Sequences. And I listened to this one so much, like early January. It just has this really cool, chill vibe. The sampling is done really, really well. It's a beautiful album. It's one of my most listened to cassettes for sure this year. Curve Sequences by Diskette Park. Excellent Vaporwave release. I actually I feel like I didn't really catch up with Vaporwave this year, so this is kind of one of the only Vaporwave releases that I even listened to in 2020, which is a little bit sad, but I don't know. I feel like this year I was so busy making stuff for the Equips picks that I didn't really have a whole lot of time to like listen to music for enjoyment. So when I did listen to music for enjoyment, I was not seeking out new stuff as much as I was like going back to kind of comfort stuff that I know that I love. Those are kind of my 2020 recs. There's also a bunch of stuff that I got into this year that didn't come out in 2020, which of course is Caroline Polachek. I started jamming this one a lot in December of last year when I was going on tour with Magic Sword. I was listening to this in the car a lot. But Pang by Caroline Polachek. Oh my god. What a masterpiece of an album. It's so good. It's just like, it's a perfect pop album, and I love her voice. I love the production on this album. And I thought that it was so incredible that George got to work with her and do an official remix of, what song was that? Hey Big Eyes. So yeah, George's remix of that is really excellent. But yeah, it's so cool. Love Caroline. Hell, maybe one day I can do a remix for her. Maybe I'll see if George will put in a good word for me. So yeah, also this year I got into, I mentioned it, it came out last year, but I really got into this late 2019. Studio's Soda Resort Journey. I think this came out late 2019. I didn't get a copy until I actually went to Japan and like met him. He gave me a CD, and yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect like new city pop album. There's like nothing that could be improved about this. It's amazing, and everybody should listen to Studio. End of story. His live performance, you know, we were lucky enough to play with him in 2018 and last year in 2019 in Japan. He's the nicest guy. It was just so fun chilling and playing with him. And yeah, like James and I were both just like dancing and crying at the same time when we saw him both times in 2018 and 2019. Just super nostalgic. Just it's been on repeat all this year. You really can't go wrong with Studio. He did some new release too, this Promise of Summer, which is also really awesome. But yeah, that album came out in 2019, but yeah, it's continued to get play this year. Another one that I really liked was Casey Musgrave's Golden Hour. You know, one of my coworkers, when I did the construction job, was putting this on a lot, and at the time I just really didn't absorb it. It just kind of went in one ear out the other. But then like I started listening to it at home a lot, and the songwriting and the production on this album is ace, and it's really awesome. I can't say enough good things about this. I'm not even a country fan, but something about this album has just captured my attention and imagination. And yeah, she's got a lovely voice. The songs are all like, you know, a mix of happy and sad stuff. Overall, just a really cool vibe. Seffi's been listening to Studio constantly. Yeah, Ed Jr. Has mentioned that it's Pat Shennington's favorite artist. He's got good taste. Zealousy says Yukika's Soul Lady K-pop album also deserves mention since she left Japan to pursue stardom in Korea, and it blew it out of the water. 2020 city pop vibes. I am going to check that out later. I'm always down for new city pop stuff, but I haven't heard of that one, so thanks for the mention and the recommendation. Ed Jr., Studio spoke a little bit of English. We mostly used Google Translate to communicate, though, which was just fine. I find that's a lot of people in Japan know a basic enough amount of English to understand what you're saying, and you know, I don't really know a whole lot of Japanese. I feel a little bit embarrassed about that, especially having gone, you know, 3 times now. I really want to work on my language skills for the next visit. But yeah, a lot of from what I understand, they teach like a year or 2 of English in Japanese high school, so a lot of people you encounter will have kind of a basic rudimentary English knowledge, and some people are really quite good English speakers. But yeah, for everything in between, Google Translate works fine as well, as long as you keep your, you know, terminology pretty simple. So yeah, there's you know, this is an oldie but goodie, but I listened to so much Sade this year, and I think it's really going to influence the direction of the new Equip album that I'm starting on this month. So yeah, Sade, what more can you say? I mean, she's a master, brilliant genius. Stronger Than Pride, I've played this album, you know, I think in the summer I listened to this album like every single day, so it's really cool. Love Sade. Can't get any better than that, so yeah. Listen to a lot of that this summer. Also, too, I've been into this band for quite a while, but Mr. Twin Sister, their 2014 album, self-titled Mr. Twin Sister, really nails that Sade vibe that not a lot of new music does. So this is one of my favorite, you know, contemporary like indie rock albums. I highly recommend Mr. Twin Sister. Their newer one, Salt, was awesome too. I think everybody knows them for that single Meet the Frownies, but I like their newer stuff so much better. This is also an amazing album. So yeah, I listened to a ton of Mr. Twin Sister this year, just a ton. Also, a couple more honorable mentions. I discovered Erica D. Cassier this year. This Essentials album is like a singles collection, but it came out in 2019, and I hadn't heard it until this summer, where it auto-played after I was listening to some Jesse Lanza, and it's got that same kind of vibe. It's just like, kind of like really sexy dance floor / bedroom bangers, you know. It's she's got this kind of like intimate thing going on that it really just, I love it. The whole album is really cool. It's got this 90s R&B sound that's just unmatched. You know, a lot of like Rompler sounds in there, like Korg rack synths and stuff. The production is really quite something, and yeah, definitely took me by surprise. I'd never heard of it before, and when it started auto-playing after Jesse Lanza, I was just immediately stopped what I was doing and just ran over to my phone and was like, what is this? Favorited it, and then just, you know, have listened to everything she's put out now. So yeah, highly recommend Erica D. Cassier. Another kind of final band I wanted to mention, I've been into for a while now, but I mean, I keep listening to them into 2020, and that is Men I Trust. This Uncle Jazz is came out in 2019. I didn't really do any kind of a year-end list or anything in 2019, so I haven't really talked about how much I love this album, but it's amazing. It's so long too. It's 24 tracks. Once again, it's just perfect pop, and I went and saw them last year locally, and their live show is just incredible. It was also like a really intimate experience at kind of a smaller venue, and their live sound is so good. The vocalist, her delivery was just so on point and perfect live. It like sounded better than the record. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but like it's so cool when you go to see a live band and it sounds better than the recordings. That to me is just the sign of a truly amazing band. And yeah, this band's gotten quite popular this year. I see they're up to 1,831,797 listeners. My God, that's a lot. But they deserve them all, and they're just an awesome band. Can't recommend Men I Trust enough. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for my short list, you know, favorite stuff this year. Oh yeah, Lil Liam says In Heaven is an incredible Twin Sister album. Yeah, I love that one too, but I gotta say that self-titled one, that's my favorite one, and that's the one I keep going back to. It just hits the spot. It scratches the right itches. I love it. Really cool stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for tonight. I think next week we'll get back into gaming, either 13 Sentinels or Disaster Report, or maybe I'll think of something wild in between. Whenever my Mega EverDrive comes in, I want to replay Snatcher and do a Snatcher stream, because that game is incredible. I really love the whole vibe and world building of that. Really great game. I also wanted to play the Blade Runner game for PC at some point on stream. I love it. Yeah, I would like to check out Crusader Senti on stream as well, Ed Jr. That's another one that I've kind of had on my list for a while, but have never played, admittedly. So there's a lot of cool, you know, like action RPGs that I'd like to play on stream. However, stuff like Snatcher and Police Knots and like visual novel style stuff tends to work pretty well for these streams, because I can play them in the like OBS window. They're not like reliant on like, you know, Twitch reflexes or whatever, and I can read the chat and keep up with it at the same time, which I feel like is an essential part of making the stream interesting to watch, is like, you know, me being able to answer your questions and interact with y'all. So hope you liked tonight's stream. A bit of an informal one. I didn't really have a plan for it. Kind of cooked up this idea, you know, a couple hours beforehand. So yeah, I'd like to do some more visual novels on stream. I had a really fun time doing Radical Dreamers with Mark R23X. I'd like to get him back. We talked about doing some kind of multiplayer streams if we can figure out a good game to play together. My friend Joe, I've been trying to get him to stream with me. He's runs the label Moss Archive, and he's got a project called Bastion Void. We were talking about maybe doing some Dark Souls co-op live, which would be cool. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. And gotta do one more Bandcamp plug, but yeah, the Bandcamp subscription is up. So if you're a Patreon subscription member and you want to switch over, make sure to cancel your sub. I am going to postpone the payments for this month, so your Patreon payment didn't go through, which will give you plenty of time to switch over. And yeah, I'm going to send out the Discord invites to everyone that signed up today. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks everyone that joined the Bandcamp subscription service. This is really like kind of my main plan for being able to stay alive without live shows. Patreon pretty much kept me fed and alive through the new year, through 2020. So yeah, hopefully 2021 is even better and we can get more people in on this subscription. I'm gonna put up the extra tapes tomorrow, so if you're subscribed on Bandcamp and you missed a tape, you should be able to get in on some of the extras that I have. I've got a big box in my closet, the legendary closet stock. I've heard that one before, but I promise you these are real and in hand. So yeah, thanks a lot, and I love y'all, and I think we're gonna start up Neo Gaia again on Tuesday, so hopefully see you Tuesday. If not, see everyone Friday. Peace out.